Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be talking about how Trick Room teams have vastly improved now that we have Regulation D format. So with the addition of Pokemon Home, now we're able to transfer a lot of different Pokemon, of course, as we all know, and with that we get, a bunch of Trick Room setters, but also more importantly, we got a bunch of Trick Room sweepers, okay? And it really needed it, right? The archetype up until this point was like just okay, but it just needed something a little bit more, right? And what I mean by that is if you look at what we have up until this point, like in terms of like Trick Room, sweepers, we have like Torkoal, we have, Hatterene to an extent. Then we also had stuff like, Iron Hands, the physical options, right? Iron Hands and Kingambit. And that was really it, okay? Yes, we had some other things like, Enamorus, of course. Then we had some other, niche, slow Pokemon that were also like, high attack or high special attack Pokemon. But, this was it. Like in terms of like using your Trick Room stuff, this was it. These were your hard hitters. And then for like, Trick Room setters, you had, of course, you still had Hatterene, you still had Enamorus, okay? That was still okay, right? But then you still had, now you also had Indeedee, okay? Then you also had, Bronzong, okay? And from here, you had a bunch of other Trick Room setters that are a little bit niche, but, basically up until this point, this is what we had, right? But it wasn't enough, right? Things still walled Torkoal, thanks to terrestrialization. And then overall, just it needed a little bit more of an extra punch. Yes, Iron Hands or Kingambit are very, very good Pokemon, but they don't need Trick Room to do well, right? And often than not, we actually see those outside of Trick Room teams a lot more. But now with Pokemon Home, aka Regulation D format, we get exactly what we need in a couple more bulkier, options and bigger sweepers than we've had before. And that's good because now it makes the actual archetype a little bit more playable and a little bit more fluid. And now, Trick Room teams are actually much more scary than they were before. And what we're going to do in this video is just go over some of those options. So this way you too can kind of mix some of the older options with some of the newer options. And this way you can get yourself a very, very solid Trick Room team. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to start with some of the Trick Room setters that we've gotten, and we're going to start here with Cresselia. We have to start here, right? Because this is pretty much on all different kinds of teams, whether it's Trick Room or not. And speaking of Trick Room, I'm just going to put it right here. And it's just so bulky, right? Like, look at this. Base 120 HP, 110 defense, 120 special defense, and this is with the nerf, right? Imagine Cresselia before the nerf, okay? And now with the nerf, it's still like very, very good. It's extremely bulky. It's hard to remove unless you have a super effective move. Otherwise, it just sits there and it just heals any kind of damage that you deal to it. Especially with Lunar Blessing now being a thing where you can just heal yourself and remove status, which is huge, considering like Among Us would just spore everything, in Trick Room. But now all of a sudden you can just use this and that spore, just doesn't matter. Especially if you have like a safety goggles on this, then, you're kind of just chilling. And then these other two moves are basically, their variants, just really just depends on what the viewer wants to use. But you always need one attack move. We'll just go Psychic for the sake of it here. But you can also go like Terra Fairy, either Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast, just so that you can resist the dark stuff running around, especially with the Paradox options. And then this last move, this can be, stuff like skill swap, so you can, neuter other Ursalunas, remove their Guts ability, and just actually burn them. So this way they don't do as much damage anymore. You can do that. You can do the Patented Ally switch, even though it got nerfed this generation. Sometimes one ally switch is all you need, even though repeatedly it will fail. Sometimes just having that mind game, is the opponent going to click it? Is he not? That's still a very, very useful thing. You also get access to Icy Wind, again, plus or minus one, speed control here with the Icy Wind, able to reduce speed by, one stage is also really, really good. Then just some other moves, like, again, Helping Hand is really good, especially if you're paired next to something like the Ursaluna, who has the Earthquake potential. So this way you're just Earthquaking next to the the Cresselia, and then extra damage with the Helping Hand just helps a lot, right? But you don't even have to do that. Like this attack, with Guts and Flame Ward, is just hurting so much. Sometimes you can just go for another move here besides just Earthquake, right? But again, the whole point is we get a bulkier Trick Room setter in Cresselia, and it's just harder to remove. We get, great support moves like Lunar Blessing, Helping Hand, and a bunch of other moves. Does this thing get Safeguard? I think it does. Oh my god, this thing gets Safeguard. You don't even need safety goggles anymore. So yeah, that's just another way to really utilize it. But again, another one that we can use that is also really really good at the moment is what was that other thing that not Cresselia, but oh, Wire Deer, right? This thing. So like Wire Deer, it has seen some play, recently. It's just not like super recently, but people are trying it. And the whole idea is now we have an Intimidates Pokemon with Trick Room, and this is something that we didn't have before. So now that we can use this new toy that we can play with, right? Just it could be very interesting. Now you don't have to rely on Landorus per se. You don't have to use Gyarados or Arcanine for that matter. Now you have another Intimidator in Wire Deer, and you get a little bit of speed control with the Trick Room. It's pretty bulky, 103 HP, 72 defense, 75 special defense. Okay, these defenses are a little bit, they're like average. At least with this attack set, it's okay. But, at the very least, the Intimidate option is really good. And again, Flutterman is going to have a little bit of trouble trying to remove it, of course, just because you have the normal typing. This is basically like Indeedee typing here. But now you get access to Trick Room and Intimidate. So that's also really, really nice. Then you have like a couple more other niche options like the Galarian Articuno. I don't know how much play this is going to get as of this moment. The format is still like relatively new. And people haven't really used it all that much. But again, if I just recall like Sword and Shield stuff, like again, this thing gets not only access to Trick Room, but it also gets access to Tailwind. And depending on you, you can use either or. And it's pretty flexible in a best of 3, right? It just really depends on what you want to do. But considering like competitive here, where you can just get a huge boost in special attack if, a stat is lowered. So what you can also do is like, what's that thing called? Like Scary Face Yourself, right? Where was that thing? Thunderous. I've seen this at least once. Right? You have Scary Face. You can Scary Face your own Articuno, get a huge boost, and then just go for like Freezing Glare or just something. This thing, no, it doesn't get Expanding Force. That's sad. Okay, but yeah, something like this, right? These two can also utilize it. I've also seen like in the past Iron Ball, where you just you ground yourself and your speed is halved. You go Quiet Nature and you just click the super big hard hitting moves, right? This is another way to use it. But again, very very niche. But it is another new option, another new toy that you can play with. Okay. And then another one that's also kind of niche is the Slowking, the Galarian Slowking, which has a couple of good abilities, right? Curious Medicine. Well, actually, not really this one, but the Regenerative. You know what this does with Amoonguss, right? Base speed 30. That's like Glastrier, Amoonguss territory, so that's pretty good. Special attack 110. This is a pretty cool option back in Dynamax era. In series like 7-ish. Where you can just go for max ooze and boost up your Torkoal special attack and just go for harder hitting eruptions. But one thing that I've seen besides it getting access to Trick Room, of course, is this move, Chilling Reception, right? Chilly Reception. And I've seen this paired with Glastrier, right? So what ends up happening is, for example, you have like, Slowking plus, Indeedee, for example. You go for the Trick Room on the Indeedee, and then you go with the Chilly Reception. You start to snow, you get the switch, and then Glastrier comes out into here, right? So now you get a defense boost, and then at the same time, if you have the Assault Vest, all of a sudden now the Glastrier is just in position to, deal some big damage behind, the Trick Room that you've set with the other slot, right? So I've seen something like this in ladder, and I thought it was interesting. But I've also seen this in some of these online tours. But again, it's just another niche Trick Room setter that you can get access to, where you can just really, really add some flexibility to your Trick Room team if you, go that route. Okay. But now, now that we've covered some of the Trick Room setters, there's a few others, right? But I feel like these were like the main ones that, people have at least tried as of this moment and that have at least somewhat of a niche. Okay. I know the Guardian Pokemon, like, Mesprit, Uxie, as of they also get Trick Room, but I don't think anyone's going to be really utilizing those all that much. Okay, but at the very least, I wanted to cover some of like the other options, right? So now we'll get into the Trick Room sweepers, and we're gonna start here, of course, with Glastrier. Like I feel like this is what really, really need, Trick Room teams needed. You needed Glastrier and Ursaluna, man. Like these two are just the cream of the crop here in terms of like being really, really strong physical options. within that Trick Room. Ursaluna having the same speed tier as Iron Hands, Kingambit, and what's that thing called? Azumarill. So you'll see stuff like this. These are your two premier options now. And then, you still also get some of these other big sweepers like Enamorus, right? The special end. Like we did a whole building video with Ursaluna and Enamorus, a couple of videos ago. Enamorus with Overcoat, immune to Amoonguss. Really, really good special attack set. Look at this, bulk 110 defense, 100 special defense. And then, again, you get access to Springtide Storm, and a bunch of other coverage moves, if you ever so choose. But, something else besides Torkoal, right? Something else besides Hatterene. You get some really, really good sweepers now. And then another one, even though this is not like a slow Trick Room sweeper, the fact that you can also have Hisui and Lilligant now on your team, which is better than I think it's a little bit better than the other Lilligant just because you're faster, right? Base 105 speed, and you still get access to, the other stuff like After You, Sleep Powder. Now you get Leaf Blade, of course, besides the Leaf Storm, which is really, really good. Wait, no, was it Solar Blade? I think it was Solar Blade. Yeah, it was Solar Blade, right, with the Torkoal. So you also get access to this, and then, something like Protect or whatever you want over here in the last slot. But yeah, this is also something that people have been trying, and I think it's a nice new addition, especially now that it's also faster than, just a regular Lilligant. I don't know if this is better than the Jump Bluff, just because the Jump Bluff gets Tailwind, but if you wanted to go like hard Trick Room, then you just go with this Lilligant over here. All right. So, as a little added bonus, now that we've covered some of the options, let's at least show you, a very standard hard Trick Room team that you would do, at least, just to start things off in Regulation D. I won't do like the full EVs, but at the very least, I'll show, the movesets, items, and Terra options, right? And if you really, really want the EVs, you can just message me on Discord and I'll give you the full EVs. But at the very least, I wanted to build something with the hard Trick Room concept, combining these new and old options. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so we'll go back here into Showdown here. And again, just to, not try and reinvent the wheel here, I'm thinking of the old school Sword and Shield core. Again, just of course, starting things off with Indeedee and Hatterene, the patented combination, and then with Torkoal in the back, right? So this is something that it was still even used even now, even up until Regulation D. You have the Redirector with the Indeedee, you have the Psychic Terrain, to stop Fake Out, and other priority moves in general. Then you have the Hatterene with the Life Orb over here, just dealing big damage. And then from here, you have Torkoal in the back. If they do kill the Indeedee, you set the Trick Room. And then, you just bring in the big Torkoal with the Charcoal, going for the big Eruption play, right? Something like this, okay? This is like your special end of the spectrum in terms of a Trick Room sweeper. Then you can add something like a Glastrier, right? Just another physical option if you want. Then at this point, even before the Glastrier, you can even just add the Hisui and Lilligant, okay? Because now you get that After You Eruption play that we just mentioned earlier. So that's another thing that you can do here. And then, of course, the Sleep Powder shenanigans, right? And then your last slot here, besides Glastrier, I kind of like Iron Hands here, believe it or not. Iron Hands is really good. Even before Iron Hands, hold on. Does like Ursaluna get this move? Hold on. Ursaluna, do you get Swords Dance? Oh my god, this thing gets Swords Dance. But you don't even need Swords Dance, right? Because you're already like relatively bulky, but or relatively hard hitter with Guts. But I feel like Iron Hands is still relatively good. Again, just combining like the new and old stuff. So, but the thing with this Iron Hands is we're not gonna have Fake Out here. We're gonna have Wild Charge, Drain Punch, right? Swords Dance, and then Protect, right? So this way we have, some combination with the Indeedee. And I do like Goggles here. Safety Goggles with Terra Fire. I think that's important, especially against like burn shenanigans, at least with this set. So this way you don't get spored, by an opposing Amoonguss. But this is like a very standard, hard Trick Room team that you can utilize, right? You can even do like Indeedee Iron Hands, Redirect, click Swords Dance, and then, just kind of go from there. You can even like do this with Kingambit, right? With Kingambit, Swords Dance, that kind of thing. And then just, again, go for your Kowtow Cleaves or Iron Heads or just from there, just really, really set the tone. You can even do this with Glastrier, right? You can actually do like Icicle Crash, Stomping Tantrum, okay? Then you can do Swords Dance, and then protect, right? And then this would be the clear amulet set. Okay, you can do that with the Indeedee if you so choose, and then this would get the assault vest, right? Where you just go for like, you know, heavy slam over here on this side. Actually, this should be heavy slam. You know, we need the Fluttermane coverage. So something like this, you could do that. But either way, one of these options has to get Swords Dance, in my opinion, just because we have a redirector already. So that's my two cents on that. But for the sake of the video, we'll just go Assault Vest Glastrier, remove these two options, and then we'll make the Iron Hands, again, the Swords Dance Pokemon, okay? So then from here, we just go like, you know, Psychic Seeds, Indeedee, you know, Follow Me, you know, Dazzling Gleam, you know, and then Helping Hand, Trick Room, right? So stuff like this is still very, very good. And then the Hatterene, oh, by the way, Terra Fairy, this is what you want here. And then the Hatterene, you can just go for, again, another Dazzling Gleam. Then you go, what's that thing called? Psychic, of course, single target move. And then besides Trick Room, you know, something else that you can get. What's another move? Like Mystical Fire, I feel like is another good one. Other than that, do you get another move here? Can I get... Oh, life. Oh, this thing gets life, dude. I didn't even know that. Oh, man. That's actually really, really cool. What else do I want on my Hatterene besides that? I think that's it, right? You know, I don't really need anything like super, super crazy. But yeah, Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, Mystical Fire, Trick Room. Or actually, you could just do like Trick Room, right? And then just Protect. You don't even need another coverage move. I feel like this is still okay, you know, with the Hatterene. And then... I was just thinking, like, do I want Covert Cloak on this thing, or do I want Life Orb? No, I still want the Life Orb. I need to do damage, right? And then I guess still like Terra Fairy is still pretty good, right? You know, just like an overall good defensive typing in general, just like the Indeedee here. Torkoal, Terra Fire for sure. I like Earth Power. I like Heat Wave. This is a very standard set with Protect. And of course, we're gonna put Drought on this thing, you know. And then the Lilligant, of course, really, really enjoys the Chlorophyll. You know, that you're getting the boost from the sun, you know, +2 speed. So this is getting your Focus Sash. This is getting, you know, the After You, the Sleep Powder. You know, this is the main combination. So this way you have the fast mode with Torkoal, Clicking Eruption. And then, like we said, Solar Blade. Okay, then over here you can just put Protect if you want. You can even go for another fighting move like Close Combat. You know, with 105 stat, that's also pretty good. You could do this. Then the Glastrier, like I said, Icicle Clash, Heavy Slam, Stomping Tantrum, your ground coverage is going to be important. Then over here, it's up for debate. I do like Close Combat. You know, this is a very standard Assault Vest, Glastrier kind of set over here. I think there's something else you can do. Like, I've seen the Iron Defense Body Press set, but like that's another kind of team. You could even do the Swords Dance set, like we said. You know, just a bunch of different ways you can play this Pokemon. But overall, I think this is still okay. Yeah, I feel like still Close Combat is good. And then if you don't like the triple fighting coverage here, you can just put Protector. But I feel like, you know, this is still okay. And then Terra Water is pretty good. You know, just so that, you know, you don't have to take super effective damage from the fire type attacks. You can even do Terra Fire so you don't get burned, right? Because that's one thing that would really hinder the Glastrier. And by the way, if you don't like the Assault Vest and you really like the... you know, not getting intimidated, just go Clear Amulet and go Protect here. I feel like that's still okay. But I like this route at the moment. But here's the Iron Hands with Safety Goggles. And like I said, we already did this kind of thing. So this is pretty much it. So like, without any EVs, you know, if you wanted to do Hard Trick Room to combine, you know, new and old school, you know, I would just do something like this, right? You know, don't, you know, think super hard and just go with something that's already been proven and used already with, you know, a redirector, a special sweep, 2 special sweepers, 2 physical sweepers, 1 setup, right? You know, at the very least, you know, just something that's already, you know, just use good Pokemon, right? These are all good Pokemon, right? So you're gonna do well if you use something like this. But again, if you want like full EVs of this, just message me on Discord. The other reason is the viewers gonna use this in a tournament and they don't want some of these spreads to be made public just yet. But you know, if this is something you're interested in, just message me and I'll give it to you, you know, with no problem. Okay, but yeah, let me know what you think of Trick Room this time around. My kind of way is, again, just having the balance of Tailwind and Trick Room on the same team, and that's what we're going to cover in the next video. We're going to use Glastrier again in another team building video, but it will have both Trick Room and Tailwind on the same exact team, and you'll see what that looks like in that video. But again, if you're trying to get ready for Regulation D, I've been advertising it in every single video. Make sure you schedule a coaching session with me. It's a team building session, you know, just one-on-one, you know, in that Discord call. I show you how to build teams like this. I go over different matchups. I show you how to do EV spreads. And then from there, you know, we test it out a little bit in some games just so you see how the team works overall. But yeah, if this is something you're interested in and you need a little bit of help, just, you know, sign up with the tier 3 sub on the channel. Look in the video description, look in the comment section. There is a pinned link where you can click and then you can sign up on the channel that way. Or every single video has a join button where you can join with that tier 3 sub. But anyway, that's going to do it for now, folks. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.